Hello everyone. So this question is saying how would one calculate the median from this set of different values written left to right in order from the smallest to the greatest. So how do you find the median? The median we can find it by crossing one from the left and one from the right, and then one from the left and then one from the right. If I have one number in the middle, it is the answer. If I have two numbers, I'm just going to add them and divide by 2. So basically the answer is F. If the average pay of the workers is $15 per hour, by what percent above the average worker pay is a supervisor's hourly wage if the supervisor is paid 22.5 per hour? So we basically want to know by what percent is this more than this, right? So how can we calculate that? I can basically look at the answers quickly and think, is this a 7.5% more? Is this a 15? I would basically think about 50% to be honest. Why? Because half of 15 is 7.5. And the increase is a 7.5 if you did observe that. How will you do the steps for that? 15 times x, which I don't know, is equal to 22.5. You will find out that x is 1.5. So what made the 1 become 1.5? Or what made the 100 become 150? Except that there is a 50% increase. So 50 is the answer. Which of the following sets of numbers represents the sides of an isosceles right triangle? First of all, some of them are not isosceles triangles, so we can just exclude them. Isosceles triangle means two sides are equal. This is a right triangle, but it's not isosceles. A right triangle, but that's not isosceles. And this is not isosceles. I'm left with C and E. Which one of them is the isosceles right triangle? You should use Pythagorean to identify that. Anyways, do you think 4 squared plus 4 squared would equal to 6 squared? No way, right? So even don't use the calculator. These do not follow, or I cannot apply Pythagorean over here. So I think it's E, and by steps here, it's 2 squared plus 2 squared is equal to 2 root of 2 squared, because 8 is equal to 8. So the right answer over here is E. Sarah has a sleep timer for her television. When she presses the sleep button, the timer automatically sets the television to turn off in 30 minutes. So when she presses the sleep button, the television will be turned off in 30 minutes. Each time she presses the sleep button again, the television will stay on for an additional 10 minutes. So every time she presses again, 30 plus 10. Another time it will be 30 plus 10 plus 10, and so on. If P represents the number of sleep button presses that Sarah does, assuming she does at least one press, what expression represents the number of minutes the television will be on? Take a look at the answers. Basically, first of all, the first press would switch the television or turn off the television after 30 minutes, right? So 30 minutes plus the other presses, each one gives 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, right? And P represents the number of presses. So which answer do you think is the most correct answer here? 30? At least she will press one. So anyways, the 30 minutes are there. So 30, okay? Plus 10 times P. If she presses one more, it would stay for 40 minutes. If she presses 2 times, it would stay for 10 times 2, which is 20. It would stay for 50 minutes, and so on. So I think this is the best answer for this situation. 30 plus 10, P. The circle with center B, this is the circle with center B, it intersects circle A in the center. As you can see, it intersects the center of circle A. And the circle with center A intersects circle B at its center, as the question says. What is the measure of angle ACB? Just observe and try to realize, what is this distance? This is center of A until the sides of the circle, or until it intersects the circle. This is called radius, right? And this is center B. Until the side of its circle, or until it intersects the outer of the circle, this is called radius. So you must realize that the radius of circle A is equal to the radius of circle B. This is the first thing. What is this distance from the center until I intersect circle A? This is also R. And from the center of B until I intersect circle B, this is also R. If you realize this, then you must understand that this triangle is an equilateral triangle, right? And equilateral triangles are equiangular triangles. Since the sum of all the angles is 180, so 180, these three angles are equal to each other because the three sides are equal. 180 divided by 3 is 60, so your answer is C. This question says, in the game of tic-tac-toe below, as you can see, the player put either an X or an O in the empty spot. X and O will alternate turns, once X, once O. If X went first in this game, how many ways can the board be filled if the game is played to completion, even if there is no winner? So, let's say we started anyways with X. Let's say this was the start. He started with X, and then there was an O, and then an X, and then there was an O. And let's say this was an X, and then an O, and X. So now it's turn for an O. So I guess an O can be played here. So X will be here. This is one way the board will be filled, right? Or maybe he will play the O here, and so the X will be here, and he will win. I don't think there are other ways for the board to be filled, right? So the answer must be two ways only. The average calories for each item in a meal is 350. If there are 4 items total, and the sum of every item except the sandwich is 900. What is the number of calories in the sandwich? First of all, how do you get the average? Average equals the sum over the total number, right? The sum means that the calories in the 3 sandwiches, or the 3 items plus the sandwich, divided by 4 should equal to 350. So now that we know that the 3 items are 900 plus the sandwich calories, which I don't know, divided on 4, because they said they are 4 items, should equal to the average calories, which is 350. So the sandwich calories is equal to 350 times 4 minus 900. I'm trying to isolate sandwich calories. So by common sense, the answer for this question is 500. In this question, 10 students had their individual heights per weight graphed in the chart, and they said the weight is represented on the x-axis and the height is represented in feet on the y-axis, as you can see. If one were to create a best fit line means they're going to draw a straight line over here, try to make it as a straight line as possible. To model the data in the chart above, what would the equation be? How would you solve that? Pick some x's and substitute in the answers and check if the answer of the y is near what you can see on the graph. For example, let's say x equals 150. And substitute 150 in all of them. Probably over here it's so obvious that these two answers are not there. 150 plus 4 is 154, and my answer is around 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, right? And this one, 50 times 150, no way. So exclude these two from your answers anyways. Now let's try the others. Do you think a quarter times 150 plus 2.5, substitute and see. Anyways, if we can try also 200 and see. If we substitute in the first equation in f, y equals 1 over 100 times the 150 plus 3.5. Here I'm using the choice f. I will get the answer as 5. Isn't that very close to the point that I have? Try another number. Let's say I'm going to try 200. 1 over 100 times 200 plus 3.5. It gave me 5.5. And here it looks like 5.6 or something. We're trying to get the line of the best fit. It doesn't have to go through the point directly. It might be a little bit up or a little bit low. Okay? To try to catch as much points as possible. So I'm thinking F makes sense. You can try numbers for G and H. Try 150 and 200 and see. If you try here 150, you are going to get anyways an answer as 3. Is the 150 corresponds to a 3, any 3 on the Y? So don't continue. And if you try H also, you will see that it doesn't make sense. The answer does not make sense to the Y that I'm expecting. So the only possible equation here for the line of best fit for this question is F. Which of the following will be the largest number? Since it's the largest number, I'm going to exclude this because this is going to give me a negative answer, and this because it's going to give me a negative answer. With the calculator, quickly try root of, anyways, root of 16 doesn't need a calculator. The answer is 4. Root of 12 would give me a 3.4 as a decimal. Okay, so this answer is also wrong. And fourth root of 24, you can get it from the calculator, and obviously it's smaller than 4, so 2.2. So the right answer over here is going to be A. This question says x to the power of 2 times x to the power of negative 2 times 1 over 3. What do you think x to the power of 2 times x to the power of negative 2 will equal to? When you add the powers, you will equal to 0, right? And how is that? X to the power of 2, you can just think about it times 1 over x to the power of 2. And so what will happen? The x to the power of 2 will cancel the x to the power of 2, and I will be left with the answer as 1 over 3.